You got to go Richard Ojeda, right?
Have to.
Box of medication and a hammer-made scar. Coal mining vet, but let's make a star. He's just a shit-talking, curb-stomping Trump hating redneck named
Dick. So Richard Ojeda. Where do we start? Because I know where we end up. Put it that way, but I forget how Richard introduces us to this conversation because he's going to tell us a little about his family. We get some of the background colored in on our pal Richard Ojeda, but I forget where we start here.
The first one is it's just called. It's one of his sayings. It's just something to think about. And before anyone complains, he recorded this vertically for some reason, so it might look funny.
Oh, John is away, his producer.
This was the real show.
Yeah. His daughter was graduating or something. So Richard had to record it on his phone. And Richard mentions a few times, which makes you know he's definitely serious when he says, I don't mind that John has to be with his family. I said, brother, you got to do what you got to do. He keeps mentioning it, which definitely makes it more believable.
Correct. But something to think about here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right on in with the news topics of the day. And there's a couple things that I hope people understand. It's not illegal to ask your lawyers if you can break the law. It's completely fine to ask your lawyer if you can break the law. If you ask your lawyer if you can sell heroin, you haven't committed a crime because you haven't sold no heroin. You just asked your lawyer if you could sell heroin. Now, your lawyer is going to tell you that heroin is illegal and that selling it is a crime. Now, if you choose to sell heroin anyway after your lawyer told you that it was illegal, then you are now, in fact, breaking the law. So let's think about that.
It's just useless. I mean, he's like talking about Trump, I guess. So he's essentially going to say like that Trump. That was his argument. He goes like, this is why Biden, isn't guilty of stealing documents or whatever, and Trump is, basically was his argument. But I just love that he has to break things down. Like, I mean, heroin, you can, it's on you when you sell heroin. You can ask your lawyer about it all day. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Why are you mentioning this?
Personally, my favorite part of that video was him almost throwing up in the middle of a sentence. Let me tell you.
I think it's because he was about to say something nice about Mike Pence.
He just can't bring himself to do it.
Yeah.
Next, we have powerful stuff.
This is more. I love when Richard gets into like a real like, hey, listen to me.
Philosophical.
Yeah. Listen to me now. He kind of delivers like movie line or movie trailer lines.
Right.
Where it's like, wow, that's really something I got to chew on.
Those that think everyone should be free to own any firearm that they want, just know that a man dreamed about an intruder in his home. When he woke up, he got his gun and accidentally shot himself. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Folks, let me tell you something.
Sure you could.
It sounds
it sounds really made up.
It sounds like something like the government would make up to get everyone to bring their guns back.
Well, I don't want to get into that, but that's what I love about Richard's show is where he'll just read a meme, and he talks very kind of like Alec Baldwin. He talks very powerfully into the camera and says, "I mean, what if I were to tell you it's a 30 for 30 on this guy shooting himself? What if I were to tell you that a man woke up in the middle of the night and shot himself?" Whoa, very spooky.
Your lawyer can't help you.
Now, what you can do is ask your lawyer if it's legal to shoot yourself. That you're allowed to do.
For some reason, curb stomping is perfectly fine. Next we have just might be a drop or two.
Oh, I forget. Okay. I remember clipping this, but I can't remember what he says.
The next one is the one we're trying to get to.
Yeah, this is just built. These are things I like to pick an episode and just clip as much as I can of it. But yeah, there are a couple good drops here. I just can't remember. I'm as excited as you people.
But here you like this. Tomorrow we're having Jews for dinner.
Okay, that's right. I forgot.
Okay.
Okay, that's right.
Let me start that one over there.
Yeah, someone's been watching the financial videos that I've suggested.
But here you like this. Tomorrow we're having Jews for dinner.
I mean, we have a lot of Ojeda in the outro. You know what? No, never mind. That'll get us in. I don't want to be that kind of show, I don't think. That we end with a man saying that.
Let's keep going.
Let me hear it one more time.
Here you like this. Tomorrow we're having Jews for dinner. Folks, let me tell you something. Jewish people is acceptable, but to sit and say the Jews, that's actually not right. That's not the way it goes. He said, tomorrow we're having Jews for dinner. Is that kosher?
It's like that. It's like the Always Sunny. You can say Jews, but it's all about inflection.
I like that. That's what Richard's doing now. He's like, now listen here. I don't think Richard could say Jews in any capacity with that accent.
That accent just makes it.
I mean, believe me, you can say Jews. You can say Jews. You can have Jews in your home if you want. You can break bread with them. Okay, I never thought you couldn't.
I didn't realize that was illegal. Did you talk to your lawyer?
You can, when you're talking to your accountant, you can say Jews. Your doctor, your lawyer, any type of person like that, you can absolutely say Jews because that's who you're hiring usually.
Now, this next one, I got to give the heads up to everyone watching here. It's a short clip and it starts heavy.
Okay, this is where we're getting into. So, just know, Richard is of Hispanic descent.
Is he?
Were you aware of that?
Oh, I actually makes sense with the last name.
Ojeda or Ojeda, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Richard comes from, I believe, a Mexican background, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So he is allowed to say these things that we're about to hear him say. Just keep that in mind.
It's like when Logic says the N-word.
Right? Yeah. It's really more like if Louis C.K. or Tom Segura were to say a Hispanic slur. It would jar you at first, and then you're like, "Oh no, they're allowed." All right, I forgot.
Now, the wetbacks is a derogatory.
Okay, again, the accent tricks you. He is Hispanic. Let's all remember that.
He's allegedly Hispanic. Looks like he does in West Virginia.
Yeah, Richard screams West Virginia, and so does his voice. But he is a man of Hispanic descent.
Now, the wetbacks is a derogatory term. I'm going to tell you a story because my grandfather was an original wetback.
I mean, before it was cool, he was one of the OGs. He earned his stripes when it really meant something. He was an original. I'll do the version that I'm allowed to do because obviously I can't say the words that Richard's saying. But it's like if I were to go on and just be like, I mean, my grandfather, he was a Dago's Dago. I mean, this guy, he sweat olive oil and came marinara sauce. This guy was such a guinea.
He was King Wop. It's like I guess it's like when I say Italian stuff because I am Italian, but I got the red hair.
But it's just funny to kind of like brag. I mean, like this guy was a guinea when it meant something. You understand me?
He's a guinea's guinea.
He's a greaseball's greaseball.
It's the best part of The Godfather. I always bring it up. This is the last one here from Ojeda, the legend of Papa Ojeda.
Okay. So what makes Papa Ojeda an original, W? Well, he's going to tell us, and I mean, this is a triumph of the human spirit. I've never heard a story like this. Like 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Is that right?
Yes.
This makes him look like a pussy.
But the term came from when they were fighting with Pancho Villa. My grandfather was 13 years of age when Pancho Villa come through where they were living in a place called Techiluta del Montenegro. And my grandfather left with them. When he was 13 years, he left. Never saw his mother living alive again. He left and went with Pancho Villa. He was shot 3 times. He was shot in the head. He was shot in the ass. And he took a bullet right in the scrotum and still had 9 kids.
I mean, this guy, my grandfather, he doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the world down. You understand me?
This is starting to
I
make
mean-
more and more sense that his dad is Forrest Gump.
My grandfather fought Pancho Villa, and his father went up against Genghis Khan. Now that was a ruthless son of a bitch. But
Dave Sarr,
old WB Ojeda took care of him.
super chat from Dave Sarra, $5. Thank you, sir. Yes, the OGWB Grand Papa Ojeda.
I mean, my pappy took so many bullets, and still, I mean, this man was a coming machine. He would jizz in a woman so many times that sometimes he'd impregnate her twice. That's how much this man was coming. You understand?
Each rope he shot had lead poisoning.
I mean, the endurance you have to get shot in the scrotum and then still tell a woman to open wide because she's getting a nice gift shot down her throat.
It just shows
I mean, that
horny,
really takes some endurance.
it shows how horny guys are that his scrotum will have been shot open and he's like, I can still do it.
I just don't want to fuck.
The gift that keeps on giving, that guy. You know what's funny? He recorded that himself on his phone, and it sounds exactly the same as the other show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah, the passive aggressive shots he threw at John, his producer, unnecessary. He could just do that every night.
It just didn't look as good, but technically,
You also you're missing the fun drops. You don't get the Hunter's laptop segment
Yeah.
drop and things like that.
Hunter's last call.
Yeah, laptop.
Oh yeah, on his laptop.
That was all we had for Ojeda.
Yeah. We got some super chats here. Dave Sarr again, another $5. My grandfather died in every single Mexican war. Right. Box eating dad, $2. I'm reading a super chat here. The only the only WB thing about him is having 9 kids.
Well, I don't know.
I didn't say it.
And then what you have to understand, it's a lot like my cousin Gustavo Fring says when he's going up against the Mexican cartel. Now, they may try and poison you, but what you do is stick your finger down your throat when you're in the bathroom. You throw it up, and then you have a young meth head kid shoot up the cartel.
I want to hang out with him for a day. Like, all right.
I think he could be a fun time. The problem is we couldn't. You certainly couldn't reveal your true politics.
I could not. But
You know, because that would send him into a rage.
But the thing is, he's a fake lefty.
Yeah, he voted for Trump.
He voted for Trump. I'm sure he loves shooting guns. He was in the fucking military.
Yeah, he does like getting high. He's a big weed guy. That's his big thing. Is in West Virginia, he was a state senator, so I don't know how much influence he even had. But he's like, I got weed legalized in West Virginia. That's one of his big brags.
We got people trying to reach out to him to get on. By the way,
I suspect he won't do it, but pull up the tweet. I quote tweeted one of his tweets from yesterday, where it's amazing. He says like he just has no problem saying the word fucktard and everything, and yet he still goes after Trump for that stuff.
You quote tweeted it?
I did, yeah.
Let's see.
You might have to go back, but
I wonder if he blocked me, by the way, because people kept.
He hasn't blocked me. I don't think he's a blocker. You got to give him that. You got to give him credit there. I don't know that he's a blocker.
That's true. I just haven't seen anything from him in a while. Okay, it's Ojeda put one of Trump's Truth Socials and quote tweeted it with, "This fucktard won't stop until more people are killed. Anyone else would have."
And by fucktard, by the way, I mean retard. It's a word I would want Trump crucified if he said, but I don't mind saying it. It's kind of a fun turn of phrase, if you ask me.
anyone, anyone else would have a gag order. Anyone else would have already been incarcerated. Our biggest threat is from stupidity. I will dance in the streets when this jackaloon can no longer place us in jeopardy.
I'd like to. I wonder which song he would choose. I'd like to join him in that dance.
Ooh. Whatever that
The
Vietnam theme.
house next door to me.
I think the Vietnam theme song.
Oh, interesting. Maybe.
Whatever that, I forget what that is, but the one that's always associated with Nam.
Maybe. All right. Let's moving on now.